Good afternoon. Would you like to try a free sample of our double fudge brownie?
Oh, sure. That's very good. I'll just take one more, just to be sure. Yep, still very good.
Some things never change, like never being able to take just one free sample. And Geico saving folks lots of money on their car insurance.
Is that macadamia nut I taste? Let me take one more.
Sir?
Yeah, I thought so.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Where's the Handbook? Happy New Year, y'all. It is 2021. We are finished with 2020. It feels great. I cannot wait to see what 2021 brings. This is wild. But I do need to apologize. I know I promised episode 4 like 2 Sundays ago, but y'all, the craziest thing happened to me. Listen to this. So I'm recording from Richmond right now. Richmond, Virginia. Literally 5,000 miles away from Hawaii. It's so weird. And I'm looking Barney in the eye right now, and it's really weird. I've never recorded with anybody. Yikes. It's so weird. Anyway, the craziest thing happened. Get this. So, it's Christmas Day in Hawaii, right? I'm with my roommates. We do our Christmas morning together, and a lot of people leave island to go back home to their families on the mainland. So there's not a ton of people left on island during the holiday season, which can make it kind of depressing because you're used to having your friends around and now you don't have your friends or your family. But we had a small group that was still there. And so my roommates and I, we did Christmas morning together, and then we all went to the beach. A couple friends met up. We were just, surfing, hanging out, had a great day. It started off rough with the rain and everything, but it turned into a beautiful day. So we're all at the beach, and I go back to another friend's house after being on the beach and spending time, and my roommates go home, and turns out my roommate's mom just shows up on our doorstep. I wasn't home, like I said, and just surprised her daughter, my roommate, and it was crazy. It was an awesome, great surprise. And I'm at my friend's house, and I get a phone call from my roommates, and I'm thinking that it's just like I had seen through social media that her mom had arrived and surprised her. So I was just thinking it was going to be like, oh my gosh, my mom's here. Like, hey, like, welcome to Hawaii. Merry Christmas. That was a great surprise, whatever. So I'm talking to them, and all of a sudden my roommates are like, hey, I know you probably don't plan on coming home tonight, but I'm going to need you home by tomorrow. Pack your bags. Your flight leaves at 8. You're going home to Richmond. Like, what? I literally was speechless. I said, I can't go home. Like, what do you mean? This is crazy. And she was like, nope, it's settled. You have a confirmation email in your email. Check it. Get home, pack your bags, you're leaving. Merry Christmas. And I just start sobbing, like tears flowing down my face. I left Richmond in June of 2019, and I have not been back since. So this is like a huge deal. And last year when I was going through the breakup, I promised myself, I was like, I am never doing holidays without my family again. I was miserable last year. It was horrible. So this was huge. And so yeah, I'm in Richmond and I'm recording, and I am so thankful. I really wanted to get more episodes done while I've been here, but I've been here for a week and things have just been so crazy with trying to see friends and family, and everything COVID in Richmond is so different from everything COVID in Hawaii. So it was just different. So I didn't get everything done for the podcast that I wanted to, but this episode's really special, and I'm just really glad that Barney's here, that we can record it together. So I will still have guests on from Richmond coming up, but that will have to be done over Zoom and everything like that. But as for this, I promise you guys that my girl is here, and we are going to wrap up this breakup saga, and we're done with it and we're moving on. But Barney's here. This is my girl. Welcome, Barney.
Yellow, the color. How are we doing?
How are you feeling?
I'm a little nervous, but honestly, it's exciting. This is exciting.
I know. Isn't it so weird?
I can't believe you do this in your car and you're just like, your car mostly.
Mostly in Hawaii sometimes, yeah.
But this is cool.
Right?
I'm proud of you.
We're recording from Barney's Jeep right now because we're at my parents' house, but there's a lot we got to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
I was like, we need somewhere else. So, yeah, sometimes I record from my Highlander in Hawaii, but now we're recording from a Jeep in Richmond. So weird.
It is weird, but this is really cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Hope everybody likes my voice.
Yeah, right. It's weird. You can actually hear yourself talk in real time.
Yeah.
It's cool. But anyway. Yeah, welcome.
Hi.
Hi. I know, it's so weird.
I've had the privilege of being with you pretty much this whole week, which has been really nice. But how does it feel for you to be back in Richmond?
Being back in Richmond is interesting. I didn't expect to be here, so it is super weird. And I didn't get to, if I knew that this trip was coming, I would have planned out things more accordingly. You know what I mean? So, but it's been a really good time. I mean, obviously, I didn't expect to come back until our friend's wedding in October.
Yeah, I know.
So I expected to go fully over 2 years without coming home.
Which is so weird because we were talking about it before, like before you had surprised us.
Yeah, literally.
It's funny, all
the day
of
before
us,
Christmas.
Yeah, we were all just talking about like, yeah, she hasn't been home in a long time. And
yeah, it's long overdue for sure. And even when I was like on my flight coming here, I had a layover in Texas, and it's still, I was like, this is not happening. Like, this is so bizarre. It's weird.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. So I surprised everybody from home. I surprised all my girlfriends, my brother. That was a huge one.
I know, that was so
my parents. And I recorded all of them. So I put together a little 2-minute video that I'm going to upload to the podcasting Instagram so that y'all can see it, because it was really special. I'm obsessed with surprises. I love being surprised. I love surprising people. I just love it.
I don't think I've ever been that surprised. Ever.
Yeah.
I whipped my head around so fast. I was like, what? Who's here?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You could have not. I wouldn't have believed it. I had to see it for myself.
Right.
And
it was good.
Such
Y'all's
a good surprise.
Y'all cried. It was so cute.
Oh, yeah. We were some of us were really getting it.
Wild. So anyway, yes, this is Barney. She's mentioned a lot throughout the podcast. She is the one that I called the night of the breakup saying, book my ticket home. I'm a broke bitch. I don't know what I'm going to do. And so this is her in the flesh, live in your ear. And we met back in 2015.
Yep.
Working at a place called Rock Bottom.
Good old Rock Bottom, baby.
It's where our core group of girlfriends started,
and
where we all
dreams
met.
go to die.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It was I worked there for 4 years. It was a long time.
Didn't you open
I
it?
opened that restaurant, yeah.
I was a little bit later.
Yeah. So we met, and I had just moved back from Europe when we met.
You had just gotten back from Europe because everybody was like, oh, Liz is getting back, because wasn't it a summer?
No, I lived in Europe it was 4 or 5 months. It was from January to April or something.
Yeah, because everybody was just like, oh my gosh, Liz is coming back. Liz is coming back. So everybody called you Liz. Okay. So this is my first time meeting this girl. So I'm like, oh, cool. I can't wait to meet this rad girl, Liz, right? Nobody's calling her Elizabeth. And I just remember.
Gosh, I'm so sorry.
No, don't apologize. I just remember I meet her and I'm just like, oh, you must be Liz. And she goes, it's Elizabeth. I was like, okay, this chick. But somehow we were able to find that friendship. And
yeah, I'm sorry. I always introduce myself as Elizabeth and people, and granted in high school I did go by Liz.
Yeah.
So and I respond to it, but it's weird, especially for people in Hawaii who call me Liz. I'm like, oh wait, what? Most people call me Elizabeth. And so
I feel like after you met me and then I told you that story after we were friends, you always were like, if somebody said Liz, you were like, oh, you were so much kinder. You're like, it's Elizabeth, but yeah, I go by Liz, or we had a couple nicknames for everybody.
Oh
so
my gosh.
But so
that was hilarious.
But yeah, so we were at Rock Bottom together,
yes.
and we bartended there. Mm-hmm. That's where our friendship began.
Yeah, we started off as coworkers, and then so yeah, I came back from France, and then I had just ended my relationship with my long-term, like, high school, early college boyfriend.
Right.
And I, like everybody knows that's been listening and following along, I was single for 6 months, and then I went to Hawaii, and that's when I met the ex.
Yes.
And then when I got back from Hawaii is when we became, like, super tight.
Yes.
That's where it all began.
I remember, and I think we kind of, not maybe like our friendship blossomed over you like meeting this dude, but we definitely had stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
About you. We were like, let's get you, like, this dude, like, it's going. We're a bet, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, because you had mentioned before, he invited me to be his +1 in Philly for that event.
And we were deciding.
I was talking to all the girls at work. I was like, guys, guess what? I met this dreamy boy in Hawaii. I think I love him. Like, I'm going to figure this out.
Not I think. I am.
That's so weird.
It is really funny, like, and bizarre thinking back on it, because I can vividly remember us talking about what we were going to do for your little rendezvous with him, which was your hair. And obviously everybody knows Liz has this beautiful curly hair, and she was going to, we were talking about straightening it.
I didn't end up straightening it.
I think you did.
No, I have a picture from that
that's
event.
right.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. I mean,
didn't.
that's the way
It
to
just
go in my
takes
book.
too long.
It is. I mean, your hair's beautiful straightened too. But yeah, so that's, you know, I got to see this really even before their actual relationship.
Yeah, this was
began.
just like when we were flirting and
I saw
FaceTiming, and
all of it.
it was like, oh, he's going to be on the East Coast. Like, we'll just meet up and see what happens. And then that trip is when I told him I'm moving back to Hawaii for the summer for adventure. I'm adventurous. Woo. And in my head, it was like, oh no, I'm moving back for this dude. I think I love him.
Yeah.
But so basically, yes, Barney has been there through the entire thing. And then later we became roommates and we lived together for like 2 years.
Yes.
Up until the point when I moved out, it was because I had just graduated and I was moving to Hawaii for him.
Yes.
So
A beautiful spot, may I add.
Oh yeah. Monument Avenue, shout out to that apartment. Literally the best.
Everybody that
years.
lives here knows that place.
Yeah.
That was the spot.
It was.
Yeah. But I did. I got to see all of everything, how everything started, the middle of it, and then the end. But, you know, I felt like I was in the middle of it for a while with you guys, because we lived together those 2 years that, you know, you guys were having that long distance relationship. And I got to watch you guys, and we were very much attached, usually together. So I would get to see you talking to him FaceTiming you, y'all talking, and just got to see how the relationship went. And I mean, I'll put it this way, I was completely shocked when you called me that one that one dreary that awful
I don't even remember
day.
what day of the week.
Yeah,
was it?
but I
remember
do,
the day. We could look it up.
yeah. But I don't know. I got to see all of the relationship,
And
which gives me a little interesting insight into it. I feel like,
for sure,
you know, especially living with you and being that close with you, and you being in a long distance relationship, I find that much different than being in in a relationship where you can see each other all the time.
Yeah,
you know,
because it would be so much so that when he would call, like for instance, we would be on the couch watching Netflix, right? And he would call, and I'd answer obviously, hey, what's up? And he'd be like, what are you doing? And I say, oh, I'm watching whatever with Barney. And he's like, oh, Barney, like, what's up?
Yeah,
like,
and
very,
then I take it, and then I talk to him,
and very
we get
like
to discuss what's going on with me and
involved.
Yes, very involved
in all of my friends' lives.
It seemed very genuine and very just that he cared, and he cared for you, and he also cared for us, and he formed relationships with us.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah. And I think that one of the things I definitely wanted to mention is that I feel like he became close with my friend. Like, I'm trying to think of how to word this. Our relationship was long distance, and we were getting to know each other while being long distance,
right?
Because I had just spent that one summer with him, and then I left, and it was like, okay, we're going to figure this out. We are together. And I think in him doing those things and getting to know my friends, it really like strengthened our relationship, because he knew, you know, if I would say, oh, I'm going out with the girls, like he knew who they were, not just by name, but who they were, who their relationships were, who what they do in life. That he was just so involved, and it was awesome, because like you said, it is different when you're just dating somebody who's just like, oh, cool. Like,
yeah, and it was interesting because a lot of people were kind of skeptical about it and very just like, oh, you're in a long distance relationship, like, okay,
Never gonna work.
Yeah, not gonna work.
Should have listened to him.
But
No, I'm just kidding.
You guys did make it seem though, like, and not seem, you guys, I saw it, you know.
Yeah.
You made it work, and there were times where, you know, I could see how much it was weighing on you and how much it was taxing you. Not so much that you were in the relationship with him, but that you had to be so far away from him and had to make these sacrifices, you know, for the relationship. So,
Yeah.
you know, it was really interesting just to see how much he really put in that time. For somebody that lives so far away, he sure did put in a lot of time with all of us, just not you.
Yeah.
You know, where so much that some of our best friends wanted him to be in their wedding.
Literally, like, I don't know if they formally had asked him yet. So 2 of our friends are engaged, our very close friends, and we're both in the wedding.
And it's an
the wedding
all-female party on both
Yes.
sides.
And they asked him to officiate their wedding. Like, that's how...
One of the biggest parts of the...
Yeah, right. Could
If
you
not the
imagine
biggest.
if they got married before he... Oh, we'd have to redo the wedding.
Absolutely.
We'd be like, doesn't count, redo.
You know, oh my God. They would have flown. Oh my, I can't even imagine.
That would have been
I can't imagine this.
so wild.
But yeah, I definitely feel like he turned those skeptical people into believers, and that, you know, everybody really thought like, okay, you got this. You know
I
what
was
you want to
so
do.
sure.
You were so sure.
Yeah.
And so you were so sure, so we all were like double sure.
Yeah.
Because we saw how sure you were, but then we also saw how you guys made it work. And even though you guys had long distance, you guys still spent time together where it just felt like you moving to Hawaii was just going to fall right into place.
Yeah,
It was just
no-brainer.
going to start your new chapter. We all were just like, okay, you know, and then I get the phone call.
The phone call, yeah.
That phone call.
That phone call. I will never forget that day as long as I live.
Me either.
Never.
I
What
was
did you
in-
do when
Well, when
you
you
were
called
like,
me,
hang up, you're like, call our friend in Hawaii, and I did.
Yes.
Like, what did you do? Because it was nighttime here.
yes. I was sitting in my bed, and I immediately, when you called me and told me, I like flew out of my bed. It felt like after we got off the phone and I had like mentioned everything that we needed to like do for you in Hawaii, I just started pacing back and forth, and I just started going through, first of all, what's going to happen to my girl. Like, she is 5,000 miles away from just about everybody that she needs to be with right now. You've just gotten broken up with. Like, we all need to assume the positions, you know, and we can't. Yeah, like, I'm like, Mayday, Mayday. Like, we have 2319.
Yeah.
Like, we really, like, I didn't know. And since you didn't know right then and there what you were going to do, I had no one to really talk to, because you were just like, hey, like, I don't even know what to think right now. So
Yeah, I was
can
like,
you just,
don't
not,
say anything.
Just like, don't say anything. So I was just like pacing back and forth, being like, what am I going to do? Am I about to fly there and kick this guy's ass because I really wanted to? Should I fly her back immediately? Like, what are we going to do to make sure she's going to be okay? And it was answers that I didn't have. And
Not me either.
yeah, and so
It took me weeks to tell my parents.
Yeah.
Weeks.
I mean, it's just such a hard thing to do when everybody has seen, you know, you're this relationship and has been rooting for you and has been just ready for you.
Yeah.
And then to have somebody do that and do you so dirty, like, it just was unbelievable. He could have gone any different way about it, and he chose to go the absolute worst way. And that shows his character in my book more than anything else. Not out of all the years that we got to form a relationship, all of the conversations, all of the meaningful conversations all went out the window when I saw how he treated somebody that he said he supposedly loved.
Yeah.
You know?
It's wild.
It was ridiculous.
It's so weird.
I still want to whoop his ass.
Maybe no.
But you did. But I do want to say, Liz, that you did do a very commendable job on this podcast when you decided that you were going to talk about this and be so public, a very respectful way about this person and the breakup. And I'm here to tell y'all firsthand, she did a wonderful job. But it's not the half of like she told you guys the things you needed to hear, but there's a lot of things that happened that I'm sure we'll mention, that you'll mention, or things that will come up in the future podcast episodes that he did that's just like, wait, what? Like, okay, so there's this point, then this point, and this point, and then he still did this. So many things where it's just like, you wonder if he had brain damage. We really did. We didn't understand what was happening.
Barney was like, did he get in an accident that we don't know about?
Bumped his head clearly harder than like what?
Yeah, it was weird because I just remember you guys all saying like, why didn't he end this in Europe? Why didn't he end it? Like there were just
when you were
so
back
many
in Chicago with us, when we were
LA, anything. Oh my
LA.
gosh.
And now even talking to you, it just makes me. It's just like, dude, there were so many chances for you to be open with your communication, and you decided literally to go the worst possible way. I have no. I just.
Yeah.
When I think about it, I do get mad. I think some of us get more mad than you do now, you know?
For sure. I think that I've just, and it's so funny because anybody that I tell, whether it be a new person that I've just met or, you know, old friends like we're doing right now, talking about the past and stuff like that, people really do get so worked up. And I do too, because like if you bring up something that I forgot about, I'll be like, oh Lord.
Well, I just think that, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, like he was so genuine, and he really was. And he portrayed that so well that I think anybody would have been fooled. But I think that I was just so blown away because he made us feel like he was just such this amazing guy. I really
was
like he like it, the old one.
Yeah.
Now this person that whoever he became or whatever happened along the way, you know. But in my mind, he's just a big old phony. And phony. he needs a name, and I really want to call him Phony Boy.
He is. Yeah, I think we've agreed on Phony Boy for sure.
He needs one because.
Yeah. So background recap on this.
Yeah, we need to.
A lot of girls do this, we know, but we name all of the boys that have been
wronged us,
wronged us, or like
me.
Like not everyone gets a name, but people who something that negative happened, they get a name,
and it's a story enough where they can get a name from it.
And I have a story for y'all about my girl Barney over here. The story of Hickey Boy.
Tell him.
This is what we call this boy. This boy is Hickey Boy. And basically, to give you a rundown, first off, I have one rule of advice that I give everyone. Some, you know, there are the few people that sometimes it works out. But my number one thing that I have always said, Barney, what do I always say?
Do not shit where you eat.
Yes.
Do not shit where you eat.
Don't do it. I will never understand why people complicate things in the workplace. But anyway, Barney.
What do you mean? I love it.
Yeah, Barney is the queen of this.
It's my favorite thing to do. Mm-hmm. Every restaurant.
So, Hickey Boy, yes. This boy, y'all are gonna lose your minds. And
no,
if you have a story, I feel like people are gonna be able to relate to this story because there are times when like we're just blinded by feelings. It wasn't love, so I'm not even gonna call it that. But blinded by certain things that you can't see clearly. So I feel like people are gonna be able to like me, literally.
True. No.
I can relate, but this is just a little extreme.
I was just very gullible. Here we go.
Yes. So Barney starts talking to this boy that we work with, and she leaves to go to Las Vegas on a trip. And so me and one of our guy friends walk into work one day, and this is like the day after you leave for Vegas, 1 or 2 days after you had left.
Yeah, very, very soon.
So this boy that she had been seeing has this massive hickey on his neck. And I mean like massive to the point where I thought he got hit with like a baseball bat or something. It was bigger than my hand. It was huge.
It was bright fucking red.
And yes. And purple. It was terrible. So our buddy, we both thought that you had given it to him. We were like, dang, Barney, she leaves for Vegas and like has to like leave her mark and claim some stuff. Like, how old are we? Like, whatever.
Yeah.
So our buddy takes a video on like Snapchat or maybe just a regular video, and zooms in on this boy that we work with and just says, damn, Barney, like, what are you, a vacuum cleaner? Like, making fun of her because we thought that she left this mark. And that was just is not your character either. So I should have just thought right there that that's just weird. But so anyway, we text her and we're like, Barney, what the heck? And she says,
oh, you guys, you all, thank you. First of all, thank you for telling me and bringing it to my attention. However, no need, because we've already discussed this and I know exactly what happened and you're not going to believe it, but he fell asleep on his Xbox controller and it burnt his neck, and that's the mark. That mark that you see there. Liz is looking at me right now like, are you kidding me?
Because I've heard this story and told this story a million times and I still just can't. Did you get hit in the head?
I think I must have. The altitude in the plane
must have done the Vegas water or alcohol or something was clearly messing with your mind.
I believe this dude.
Y'all, she actually tried to argue with us that the Xbox remote, because he claimed to be a big gamer or something. And so she knew that about him, that he was always playing video games, whatever. But
it sounded plausible.
No, never. Because if that had happened, he would be a millionaire for filing a lawsuit against Xbox. If that was like a manufacturing, like whatever they call that shit. If it had burned him, he would have made money. Like, that bad. You know what I mean?
Oh my.
So
yeah.
So Barney goes through the whole thing, still believes him, doesn't believe us, whatever.
It wasn't that I think I was just, I didn't want to believe it, and I had already said, well, I had already said I believe you, because he told me and I said, okay.
Oh, because he reached out first.
He got me first.
He knew that he was about to walk into work with all of your friends as coworkers and that we were going to say something. So what does he come up with? You didn't go, like,
anything else.
The girl who gave it to you couldn't have, like, offered you some concealer or something to at least try to cover it up? Like, that is bizarre to me.
Yeah, so I think that was why at first I was just like, no, like, he got me first, and I am the person, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt.
Always,
and I want to believe in the best in them, and I just was like, oh, and then also I was like, this would be a really weird thing to, like, lie about. A lot of different ways to burn your neck, like, you know, but, like, I guess now, like, hindsight's always 20/20, and I, you know, coming back to Vegas, I came back to my senses, and I was like, okay, we got to talk. Ended up talking to the dude, really just wanted him just to admit to it, because we were done at that point. Like, I knew it was a hickey. I just wanted him to admit it, and he could not admit it to me. And
even after, like, well, obviously we all.
Oh, he was so defensive. He was like, I don't care to defend myself, like, to your friends.
I don't have to explain myself.
And I just was like, no, you don't. But like, just come on, like, it's over with now. Just admit it. Like, I'd have more respect for you, or like, I'd have more, like, I don't know. Like, I was just like, if you could just be a man about it. But he couldn't be. And that's why he has the name Hickey Boy. Because that
is why he's Hickey Boy.
And that's why he's Hickey Boy. Most of those men blank boy, usually because they are not men. They are boys. And that's why I think that your dude now is now Phony Boy.
I think that's accurate. And most of these, like we said, are Barney's dudes. Maybe we'll talk. Barney's going to be a frequent flyer on the show. But we have a Sad Boy.
Bellboy.
We already talked about Hickey Boy. Busy boy. Jersey Boy.
Which is our friends, but we usually find different names.
Yeah,
for
we
them.
try and name them
I mean,
all.
I have some that don't have boy at the end of them, but the ones that do have boy have the best stories.
Oh, the best.
So maybe another time we can talk about the other ones, but Hickey Boy is the OG and the one that's
the one that started it
and
all.
is the best one,
it
in
is
my
the best
opinion.
one.
And I'll never live it down. And I don't think I want to, because I just am who I am, and I'm gullible. I did learn my lesson though, but I would love y'all, please hit Liz up and tell her if anything like this anything remotely similar has happened
or a time
to you.
when you've believed, or if you've lied to somebody, like, you
Yes,
know, the
true.
gullible boys out there, or girls, whatever, that have believed something you've done. I don't know. It's just, I'll never forget that story, because that shit was so funny. And just me and our buddy, when we texted you, we were just like, I just remember we looked at each other and we were like, is she being serious?
Dead ass.
Like, dead ass serious. So in future episodes, if I do talk about the ex, which it might come up occasionally just with different scenarios, but Phony Boy, just for those, if you're you know, obviously if you've listened to the whole podcast through, at least you have the background story on how that came about. Because we are pretty much wrapping up this bullshit breakup
As
stuff.
we should.
Like, we're done.
Yeah.
It's
Everybody
2021.
wanted to know. And I mean, I was just lucky enough to get the insider scoop right off the bat.
Yeah,
But
you saw it all.
I cannot imagine what people on the outside, you know, we talk about Instagram, we talk about all this stuff, what people were thinking. And I think that too when I see people that have broke up, I'm like, I need to know the story.
Oh, people are ballsy. I will say this on the internet. Like,
Really?
even, and like, I'm always curious too. We all do it. We're
Right.
like watching from an outsider's perspective and we're like, oh snap, are so-and-so together? Are
Right.
so-and-so broken up? And I had been the person that didn't originally. Now you can't trace my relationship with Phony Boy. But originally, do you remember what I did?
Yeah, it was sad. I love you.
Oh my gosh. So one night I must have been drinking. Well, I had to have been drinking. I don't think, So I decided, you know, I never really delete stuff from Instagram on my actual like page.
Your
So
personal
my
page.
personal page, I don't delete things. I don't like, you know, what they're all memories. And the reason that I keep it is because it's my life. Like
Right.
this, I can go back and I have pictures on Instagram that I have no hard copy of.
Right.
Like even on my camera roll.
Yeah.
So one night I went back through and I mean, granted, we dated for 3.5 years, so there were a lot of posts with Phony Boy, and I went back and I just changed all the captions.
It was amazing. I think you texted me and you're like, hey, if you want to go like check
If you want an entertaining hour, just
And
go
I did.
scroll through my Instagram.
And I did. And it was so,
I would say things like,
I hope people go back and maybe can find
they
some.
know because I either archived or deleted all of them.
No,
because-
I think I went back and I think you have like maybe 2, but
Really?
they're
Oh,
not
probably,
with
because
him.
I look cute.
They're not, they're like,
I would make the caption something along the lines of like us in Amsterdam being like, oh, also advice for those in a relationship who are traveling, get your man or your girlfriend, whoever, to take single photos of you.
Yes.
Because I have so many with that dude and I'm like, ugh, like I have no photos
phenomenal advice.
Yeah, like take single photos or photos that can easily be cropped. Keep them on the end. If it's a family photo, keep them on the end.
True,
Crop
yes.
them, Photoshop them, whatever, because I'm pissed. And some of the captions that I put were like, how do you delete one photo from a thread when you've posted like 4? Because hashtag he dumped my ass. Like,
Yes.
like it was like stuff like that. Or
But then we broke up.
But yeah, that was my favorite one. And then we broke up. Or shortly after this photo was taken, he broke up with me. Or the one when I moved to Hawaii, that was the best
Well,
one.
but I can say that's what I do really love about you though, is that you can take these things
It
and
was
make them
so
into
funny.
Yeah, make them into these. That's funny.
Because
That's hilarious.
and the even funnier thing is, well, because my page is even my personal page is public anyway, so
Right.
whatever, anyone can go scroll through that. But the thing I loved most about that is that he was tagged in all my photos, so if anybody went to his page and went to his tagged photos,
I see.
they could scroll through and still see all the captions. That was the funniest thing to me. And then
So
finally,
good. You just can't make this up.
yeah, finally, because it was just fun. Like I was
Oh,
just
I would
like,
have had.
yeah, it was hilarious.
If that ever happens to me, well, no, I'll
just
take
change.
your advice. I'll take your advice.
Yeah, seriously,
and I
single
will,
photos.
Yeah, I'll take single photos.
Single
But
photos for sure.
that's amazing.
But now they're all deleted.
Well,
or
I
whatever.
mean, speaking about like the podcast and all this stuff now, do you like feel though that going through these, because you had the first 2 and then your third one and now I'm the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like even now talking us all, like, you know, in this episode, do you feel like your story has been told with not only yourself but also what happened in the relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the relationship, because like I said from the beginning, there's so much more to this podcast than just this relationship.
I know, I'm
this
super
is
excited.
This is just like the start. And originally I was going to come out with my short, well, obviously I came out with a trailer that was like 2 minutes, and then I had the intro one and then the breakup one.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was going to be breakup, done, on to the next topic.
Right.
But so many people were hitting me up and giving me so much feedback where I was just like, wow, I have so much more that I can talk about on this. And then getting like the best friend's perspective and talking about how I like went through my healing process of, you know, after that. And I think that I'm just really glad that so many people were also vulnerable in reaching out and telling me their stories, because that meant a lot, because the whole point of this podcast is that it is relatable.
Right.
And that I knew that now I know that I wasn't alone. I thought I was originally going through it. So I think that, yes, the story's been told, and it's just, yeah, I've healed in the relationship part of my life, and I don't want it to make it seem that, oh, I'm all good now, life's fine and dandy, I have everything together, life is back to butterflies and rainbows in Hawaii. Like, that is not the case at all.
Right.
I've just completed this, like, one level, if you want to put, we were playing Mario Kart last night, so I'm relating to that. Like, that level is complete and done, on to the next. There's so much more that I'm working on within myself, like mentally, emotionally, financially. Like, I have goals for this year, and that healing process was just step one to getting my upswing going with the rest of it.
Well,
so,
I have to say that is not the case for everybody, and so that I'm really happy to hear that, like, you were able to heal. I think that a lot of people could have taken what has, like, happened to you, or what if it happened to them, and let that completely define them. That be probably their identity for a while, to be this. I mean, I know
it was for me.
I mean, but not. Second. I mean, you had your dark days, but I never felt. I don't think that you ever let it. You were able to have what everybody needs when they get broken up with, which is what you had, which is a little wild and a lot of sadness, a lot of figuring it out. But what I mean is, like, I know a lot of people that would have just harped on that for years even. And you were able to not only say, I'm going to stay in Hawaii, like, but you were able to then start a podcast and decide that you were ready to take it to the next level, you know? And I just think that is something that's really special that not a lot of people can do. And I hope that people listening can see that sadness that you think is not ever gonna go away, that it actually can, and it's not without work. But
it's a lot of work.
You could have definitely taken an easier route, and you could have come home. You know, there were a lot of people that would have sent you home, myself included. I would have sent you on a one-way ticket back, you know, and you decided that you were gonna take what had happened to you in your own hands and not go with your tail wagging in between your legs, not to, you know, wave the white flag in Richmond if you came home. Like, you wanted to make Hawaii your own, not what you had gone into it originally.
And expecting,
but to make it into completely your own. And now you're doing all these things that who knows if you would have done it, if you would have not had this happen to you. And I just think that's something I hope that listeners can understand, that even though one thing goes one way, there's a million different opportunities that happen from that one decision. And I think that you've shown a lot of your listeners that, like, you can do it. It's not without difficulty, but you definitely can do it.
For sure. And I did have my main support system, obviously, was in Richmond, but I had a very small group of people to help me in Hawaii, that, because if it was just me, like, I couldn't imagine if I had moved.
Oh, absolutely not.
Without knowing, then I definitely would have been back in Richmond. So I think it was obviously we keep joking and being like, okay, you had a million opportunities to do it before I left, and that's one of the reasons why once I got to Hawaii, it was like, okay, there's a reason why it happened, that I'm already here and all my stuff is here. Like, and that's why I was like, I'm not ready to leave without figuring.
And who knows if you would have had the epiphany to make the podcast if you wouldn't have been in Hawaii.
We were just talking about that last
like
night.
if you would have came back to Richmond, you probably would have just resumed everything, probably not had given much of you and Phony Boy's relationship a lot of thought. You probably would have tried to leave it in Hawaii, and you know, and and instead you said no, and that, I mean,
you're not gonna ruin this paradise for me.
Exactly. I'm not only proud that you did that, I'm also really proud of this podcast. And yeah, we have talked a lot about your relationship, but like you've said, there's a lot more to come, and a lot of very real things that happen in people's life that is relatable, and some of it is not sunshine and rainbows, and some stuff is, like, you know, we'll talk about other things that are happy, but things that are real life stuff that actually, some people might think it's taboo to talk about, or, you know, stuff like that, where I think people are really going to get to see another layer of not only you, but to this podcast. And that's really exciting. And I'm already proud of this podcast to begin with. So, and proud of you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited. Like I said before, there was a couple other episodes that I wanted to record in Richmond, but it just didn't happen. And that's totally fine. And I will be back later, but I can also do things virtually. So,
well, I mean, it's almost time to go back to Hawaii. Like, how are you feeling about going back? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
It's kind of like the same feeling when I was leaving Hawaii to come here. It just, I think that coming back to Richmond really felt like everything was back to normal. And we all do a pretty good job, like in our friend group, of keeping up with each other.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel like there were certain people that I needed to be like, hey, I need a coffee date with you. Let's catch up on the past year and a half of life, because I don't keep up with them. But with us and our girlfriends and my family, like, I'm up to date on everything that's happening pretty much daily.
Right.
Like, our group chat, I wake up to like 120 text messages sometimes
Yeah.
because of the time difference. And I always go back and read them. So I've felt very up to date. And so coming back here was very much just like hitting the play button and going on from where we left off. It doesn't feel like it's been a year and a half since I left.
No, it doesn't at all.
Not at all. And so I'm ready. I don't know. I guess it'll just feel different on my flight tomorrow.
I want to hear back. I'll probably, I mean, you know me. I'm going to be like, how are you feeling?
Yeah, right.
Like, as soon as you
I might
land.
cry. I don't know. I might cry. Who knows? I'm
probably
excited to
going
go
to.
back because I miss the ocean. I mean, I get in the water all the time, and it's been freezing here. Everyone's making fun of me. It's like
the first question
degrees.
everybody asks you, like, how you liking that? That's literally my favorite thing. I think everybody that's seen you, when they first saw you, was the initial like shock of it, and then immediately their first question was, so what do you think about the weather?
Yeah,
You doing
like,
okay?
how cold are you? Yeah. I was at a brewery yesterday, and this guy was wearing, it was like 60 degrees out, 61, and this guy was wearing a t-shirt and shorts, and I had my Uggs jeans, a sweatshirt, my big scarf, my staple scarf, and a jacket, and a beanie or a hoodie or something. I don't know, but I was still cold.
Layered.
And I'm like layered up with like my scarf the whole way up here. It was crazy.
Well, I'm definitely really happy I had this like surprise time with you. I'm really like sad that you're going to be going back, but I am happy for you because I do think that you've been able to find that happiness in Hawaii. Do you feel happy? Are you happy in Hawaii?
Yeah, like I've mentioned before, I'm so glad that I took the time to heal there.
Me too.
And I've also mentioned it that, you know, Hawaii is probably most likely not going to be my forever place. And who knows how I'll feel when I land back in Hawaii. What if I get there and I'm like, nope,
not it.
this chapter, like,
well,
who knows?
You never know. And I think that's the thing. It's going to be 2021 is going to be full of a lot of things, I have a feeling, and a lot of good stuff, a lot of good energy.
Oh yeah, for sure. 2021, I'm really excited. I'm so stoked. It seems so weird. I can't believe we're in the new year already. But like you said, who knows what's to come? Only time will tell. And this was such a fun first guest episode.
I know. Thanks for having me. This was so awesome. I really enjoy this. I think I'm going to listen back and be wanting more to be able to tell more about different stories, because we got a lot that we can talk about. Oh, yeah. You know, so many different topics.
Much. Barney has a really amazing story in her life that she's going to get on and have her own episode to share. Well, like with me, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
And then there's so much to celebrate just this year and stuff with my family and my brother, and there's just so much to come.
Yeah.
So much that people don't know. Everyone's like, this is just the girl that got dumped in paradise. And I'm like, oh, no. We can go way back.
Yeah, no. There's
childhood trauma, what?
Yeah. Yep, right here. Hello, how are you?
What do you want to know?
No, but thank you for having me on, and I really do think that this is going to be a good final episode to like let that just all be done.
We are done.
Goodbye.
See you never. Leave your ass in 2020.
Yeah.
Bye. Like, seriously though, I appreciate you, and I appreciate all you have to say. You did great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I hope
your
everybody
voice sounds great.
Yeah, I hope people.
It's super weird.
Yeah, I'm really excited for you to hear your feedback and let me know what.
Yeah,
you know.
Guys, let me know what you thought on this episode. Seriously, let me know what you thought about Barney. Whatever.
Yeah, y'all. Oh, please.
Oh, Hickey boy.
Yeah,
oh,
I want to hear every and any comment because it will bring me so much joy. I mean, this in the time that when it happened, it was awful, but now I can sit back and laugh at it and love it.
So
and I'm
funny.
really happy now that other people have this story, and I just hope Hickey boy gets spread across.
Oh gosh.
In Australia.
He's gonna hear about it.
I don't care.
Oh yeah, we do have listeners from all over.
Yeah, so that's exciting, you know. So thank you guys.
Yes, and thank you guys so much for being patient with me me over the holidays. I know, obviously, no one expected this. I fully expected to have 2 more episodes out by now. So thank you for sticking with me. And I promise, New Year 2021, I'm going to be more on schedule with things. We're going to have things down. Social media is underway, like working through all of those kinks and stuff like that. Because originally, Barney, I don't remember if I told you this, but when I first came up with the podcast idea, I thought I was launching January 4th.
Yeah, I remember that.
And now it's January 4th tomorrow or something.
So weird.
So it's crazy. So all this happened so fast, but I'm on it. That is what 2021 is going to do for this and Where's the Handbook. And as always, thank you guys so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe, rate the podcast, leave a review for me. I think on Apple, your rate only counts if you do leave a review, just for future reference. But also, Haley Barney is on Instagram at Hey Barney.
HayBarnay.
Yeah, Hey Barney.
Hey Barney.
So give her a follow, slide in her DMs,
Yeah.
let her know your story. If you want to just DM her about your stories, that would be hilarious. Just send them to me or whatever. But that's Barney, my girl. She'll be back for sure, our frequent flyer.
Love you.
But I love you more. But as always, you guys, yes, follow me on Instagram at Where's the Handbook and Twitter, podcasting WTH. Happy New Year, y'all.
Hell yeah.
Yeet.
Skirt.
Go watch that SNL skit if you haven't.